Hello everyone. Today's video is about body parts and the area of anatomy. You see that some video is mentioned it regional anatomy. So the body parts and the area of anatomy and the regional anatomy both are same. So let's start. Body parts and area of anatomy. Our body part we can divide it into two regions. First axial region and second appendicular region. You see that this portion is called the axial region and this pink portion is called the appendicular region. So the axial region is consist of head, neck and trunk, and the appendicular region consists of upper lip and lower limb. You see in this picture that head, neck and trunk is included in the axial region, and this pink portion, upper limb and lower limb, is called the appendicular region. Then axial region. So axial region is consist of head, neck and trunk. So first head. First cephalic region. The head portion of the body is called the cephalic region. You see that this is the head portion of the body. So that's why it's called cephalic region. Then cranial region. The skull of the head is called the cranial region. Then frontal region. Frontal region is called the forehead of the body, where the forehead means front. So the front portion of the head is called the frontal region. Then ocular or orbital region. Eyes are called ocular or orbital region. Otic region. Ears are called otic region. Nasal region. Nose portion of head is called the nasal region. Buccal region. Cheeks portion is called buccal region. Oral region. Mouth is called oral region. Mental region. Chin that is present beneath the mouth is called the mental region. Then the last region of the head is occipital region. The back of the head is called the occipital region cause there is present occipital bone. You see that this portion is called the occipital region, that is the base of the skull. It is the picture of the bone in skull. This aqua color portion is called the occipital bone. This violet color portion is called the parietal bone. This yellow color portion is called frontal bone. This green color portion is called sphenoid bone. And the lacrimal bone that is present behind the eyes. So the occipital bone present in the base of the skull. That's why this region is called the occipital region. So see in this picture that the head portion is called the cephalic and the skull portion is called the cranial, the forehead portion is called frontal, the eyes portion is called ocular, it is also called the orbital region, then the ear portion is called the otic region and the nose is called the nasal in anatomy and the mouth is called oral, chin is called mental and the cheek is called buccal. And the last region of the head, that this is the occipital region, that is the back of the head because there is present occipital bone, that's why this region is called the occipital region. Then the second part of axial region is neck. There is only one region, cervical region. The neck portion of the human body is called the cervical region because there is present cervical vertebra. You see in this figure that the neck portion there is present cervical vertebra. That's why this region is also called the cervical region. Actually, our vertebra can be divided into the 5 parts. First, cervical vertebra, second, thoracic vertebra, third, lumbar vertebra, fourth, sacral vertebra, and fifth, coccyx. So, in the neck portion, there is present cervical vertebra. That's why this region is called the cervical region. So, the last part of axial region is trunk. The rest of the body after the head and neck is called trunk. And then upper limb and the lower limb is a part of the appendicular region. First, thoracic region. The chest portion of the trunk is called the thoracic region. It is between the neck and abdomen. It is called thoracic region because the presence of thoracic vertebra. You see in this picture that the thoracic vertebra is present here. So as there is present thoracic vertebra, that's why it's called the thoracic region. Then axillary region. Armpits. Both armpits of the human body is called the axillary region in anatomy. Then mammary region. The base portion of a human body is called the mammary region. Sternal region. Base bone of the human body is called the sternal region because there is present a bone that's name is sternum. You see in this picture that the front of the bone is called the sternum bone. That is present front of the lung is called the sternum. That's why this structure is called the sternal region. Then abdominal region. Abdomen portion of a human body is called the abdominal region. Then umbilical region. It is also called the belly button. The navel portion is called the umbilical region. Then pelvic region. The pelvis portion of the body is called the pelvic region. Inguinal region. The groin portion of the body is called the inguinal region. Pubic region. The genital area of the body is called the pubic region in anatomy. You see in this picture that there is present a sternum bone. That's why this region is called the sternal region. And the sternum bone is also called the breastbone. Then the thoracic region, this chest portion is called the thoracic region between the neck and the abdomen. Then this is the abdomen portion, that's why it is called the abdominal region. Both armpit portion are called the axillary region. Breast portion is called the mammary region. And the navel portion is called the umbilical region. This pelvis portion is called the pubic region. This groin portion is called the inguinal region. Pubic region. The genital area of the body is called the pubic region. You see in this picture that this is the skeletal system of the human body, and this is the ribs portion, this is the sternum, this is thoracic, and this is the costal cartilage. So the thoracic region is consist of a rib, sternum, thoracic vertebra, and the costal cartilage. Then this region are also included in the trunk. First, perineal region. So the region that is present between the genital and anus is called the perineal region. I think you listen that the perineal care is done by the nurse. Then the dorsal region, the back portion of the trunk is called the dorsal region. Then vertebral region, spine. The bone of the spine are also called the vertebra. So the portion where the vertebra is present is called the vertebral region. Lumbar region, loins. The loins portion is called the lumbar region because there is present the lumbar vertebra. You see in this picture that there is first cervical vertebra. So this portion is called the cervical region. Then the thoracic vertebra, this portion is called the thoracic region. And then this is the lumbar vertebra. So this portion is called the lumbar region. Then sacral region between the hips is called the sacral region due to the presence of sacrum bone or the sacrum vertebra that is present near cleft of buttock. Then gluteal region, the buttock portion of the body is called the gluteal region. See this picture, the region that is present between the genital and anus is called the perineal region, and the back of the trunk is called the dorsal region. The portion where vertebra or the spine present is called the vertebral region, and the portion where is lumbar present is called the lumbar region. Then there is a sacral vertebra is present, so that's why this place is called the sacral region, and the buttock position is called the gluteal region. So see in this picture that first cranial cavity, this is the cranial cavity, this is the vertebral cavity, and the portion where the vertebral cavity is present, and the below the cranial cavity portion is called the dorsal cavity. So I already discussed about head, neck and trunk, and now I discuss about the appendicular region that is made up of upper limb and the lower limb. In this figure that there is a yellow portion is called the axial region, and this pink portion is called the appendicular region. So the first part of the appendicular region is the upper limb region. So first acromial region. The shoulder portion of the body is called the acromial region. Then brachial region. Arms portion is called the brachial region. You can remember it by comparing it to biceps. Then antecubital region. Front of the elbow is called the antecubital region. You see in this picture that the front of the elbow is called the antecubital region. Where the anti means front and cubital means the elbow. So the front of the elbow is called the antecubital region. Then antebrachial region. The forearm portion is called the antebrachial region, where the anti means front and brachial means arm. So the front of the arm is called the brachial region. Then carpal region. The wrist portion of the hand is called the carpal region. You see in this picture that this wrist portion is called the carpal region. Then manual region. Hand is called the manual region. That's why the work those are done by our hand, those are called the manual work. Then metacarpal region. Beyond the carpal is called the metacarpal region. Pollex region. Thumb of the upper limb is called the pollex region. Then digital region. Finger and the toes is called the digital region. So I request you to please use your digit to subscribe my channel. So see in this picture that the shoulder portion is called the acromial region. This arm portion is called the brachial region. There is also brachial artery present. Then the front of the elbow is called the antecubital region, where the anti means front and the cubital means elbow. And the back portion is called the olecranial region. Front of the arm is called the antebrachial region. Wrist portion is called the carpal region, and the portion that is present beyond the carpal is called the metacarpal region. This hand portion is called the manual region. Finger portion is called the digital region, and the thumb is called the pollex region. Olecranial region, the back of the elbow is called the olecranial region. You see in this picture that the back of the elbow is called the olecranial region. Palmar region. Palm of the hand is called the palmar region. Then the last lower limb region. First coxal region. Side of the hips are called coxal region. Then femoral region. Thigh portion is called the femoral region because there is present femur bone, that is the largest bone of the human body. That's why this region is called the femoral bone. Then patellar bone, front of the knees, because there is present a bone that is known as the patella, that is present in front of the knee, is called the patellar region. So that's why this region is called the patellar region. Sometimes it is called the kneecap. Then crural region, the front of the legs is called the crural region. Then pedal region. Foots are called the pedal region. You can remember with the pedal bicycle. Then tarsal region. The ankle portion is called the tarsal region. Metatarsal region. Beyond tarsal is called the metatarsal region, where the meta means beyond. Then hallux region. Big toe of the foot is called the hallux region. Digital region. Toes and the fingers are called the digital region. These are also included in lower limb region. Popliteal region, back of the knees are called popliteal region. Sural region, calf or the back of the legs are called sural region. Calcaneal region, heels portion is called calcaneal region in anatomy. And the heel bone is known as the calcaneus. That's why this region is called the calcaneal region. Then plantar region, the sole of the foot is called the plantar region. See this picture that the back of the knee is called the popliteal region and the back of the leg is called the sural region, heels portion is called the calcaneal region, and the sole of the foot is called the plantar region. So I think that this huge amount of the figure are help you better understand this topic. So if this video is helpful to you, again I repeat that please like, comment and subscribe my channel and also share it with your friends. So again I will discuss it briefly and please all of you try to remember it with me. So let's start. This is the interior and this is a posterior view of a human body and I already discussed about this position. So let's start. First, forehead or the front of the head is called the frontal. Cranium or the skull portion is called the cranial. Face is called the facial. Mouth is called oral. Chin is called mental. Armpit is called axillary. Arm is called brachial. Front of the elbow is called the antecubital. Forearm is called antebrachial, where the anti means front and cubital means elbow and brachial means arm. Wrist, carpal. Thumb, pollex. Palm, palmar. Finger, digital or the phalangeal. So the fingers portion is called the digital or the phalangeal. Kneecap portion, where the patella bone is present. This portion is called the patellar region. Legs is called the crural. Ankle, tarsal. Toes and fingers, digital or phalangeal. Then eyes called ocular. Cheeks are called buccal. Nose are called nasal. Neck, cervical. Chest, thoracic. Breast, mammary. Abdomen, abdominal region. Navel, umbilical region. Hip, coxal region. Pelvis, pelvic region. Groin, inguinal region. Pubis, pubic region. Thigh, femoral region, because there is present femur bone. Great toe, hallux region. Then posterior view, head portion is called cephalic, shoulder is called acromial, back dorsal, back of elbow olecranal, loin is called lumbar, sacrum bone is called the sacral, where there is a sacral vertebra is present. Hand portion is called the manual, buttock portion is called the gluteal, back of the knee is called popliteal, calf or back of the leg is called sural, heel of the foot calcaneal, sole of the foot is called plantar. So these all are the terms of the body part that we used in anatomy. So in this topic, if this video is helpful to you, please like, comment and subscribe my channel and also share it with your friends, because all of these are inspire me to make more and more video. So thank you everyone.